Hey Zombie Slayers, Jonathan here at Night Knowledge. Many of us have played the Left 4 Dead series, so when we play Back 4 Blood, we'll definitely feel at home. But that means the same rules apply, and sometimes playing with pugs can be a crapshoot. Act 1 is primarily designed to teach you the mechanics of the game, but it can still be confusing for new players. So in today's video, I'm going to highlight important areas of each map so that your experience is as smooth and as efficient as possible. Let's get started. The first map is called Resurgence, and it'll teach you about two things: hordes and birds. When you get to the roof of the beginning building, you'll be able to lower a drawbridge to another building. This will always trigger a horde. It's up to you on how you want to handle this, but usually the best strategy simply deals with staying at the top of the building and shooting down into the choke point. At the end of the second building, you'll encounter an open area with birds. Getting close to them or shooting them will also trigger a horde. There's normally a path that allows you to avoid the birds, so you do not need to stay on the raised path to get to the safe room. The second map is called Tunnel of Blood. It'll introduce you to the Ogre Special Ridden and Alarmed Doors. Almost immediately outside of the safe room, the largest ridden that you've ever seen so far will burrow out of the ground. You'll have two options: run into the tunnel to the right and into the smaller corridors where it can't reach you, or backpedal and try to do as much damage to its glowing chest and back. Depending on the difficulty, it is possible to kill it. If you do enough damage to it, it will try to burrow away. Inside the tunnel, look out for red warning symbols on doors indicating that it will set off an alarm if opened and trigger a subsequent horde. If it's destroyed though from the other side, say from enemies, it won't trigger the alarm, so keep that in mind. When you get near the end of the tunnel, if you escape the ogre, it'll appear again. This time, it won't burrow away, so you'll either need to kill it or run to the exit where it can't follow you. The third map is called Pain Train, that introduces multiple paths and holding off enemies while waiting for the objective to be completed. Once you exit the suburbs, you'll enter a forest area with 2 to 3 parallel paths. Depending on the difficulty, you'll want to stick together and not get separated. Once you exit the forest, you'll come across a train yard where you'll need to activate a gravel loader to be able to go over a train cart. Activating the loader will cause a long horde, where you'll primarily need to defend from 2 different directions. The fourth map is called The Crossing, that deals with racing to the objective and placing multiple explosives. At the beginning of the map, you'll clear out the starting area, and there will be a red gas tank to destroy to get to the bridge which leads to the ferry boat. When you destroy the tank though, it'll cause a near endless horde, so make sure you stick together and hurry across the bridge. Use the stairs to get to the top of the ferry and make your way to the end where the military forces meet up with you. They'll ask you to plant 2 explosives in the bottom of the ferry on opposite ends. You can split up into 2 teams or just go together, but once the second explosive is set, it automatically counts down 60 seconds, and whether or not you make it back to the military forces, the ferry will blow up. The fifth map is called Bad Seeds, which introduces nest nodes. You'll make your way to an open area that has a barn, farmhouse, and a destroyed bridge. At the end of the bridge is what is called a nest node. You'll need to destroy 2 of the smaller sets to reveal and destroy the main nest node. There will be glowing flesh cables on the ground that you can follow to where the secondary nodes are. Each one has 3 red pimples that, when destroyed, will trigger an automatic horde. When you destroy the main nest node, it'll trigger a horde as well, but open up a way to the safe room across the river at the opposite side of the map. The sixth map is called Hell's Bells, which revisits multiple parallel paths and introduces building fortifications. Right outside of the safe room is a dark tunnel. Listen for the special sleeper ridden that are stuck on walls, as they'll jump on you and incapacitate you with ease. Out of the tunnel, you'll be given another parallel path with possible locked rooms on either side. Finally, at the top of the cemetery is a church, where when you unlock the door to the safe room, it'll trigger a horde of ridden to the church. Don't forget to close the door behind you, and by the altar of the church there will be a pile of wood. Interact with the wood and run up to an open window and hold the interact button to build fortifications. You'll need to do this 3 times per window. All the while, there will be unlimited ridden trying to climb through. So try to have at least 2 players killing ridden while the other 2 build fortifications. As soon as you barricade all the open windows, the run will be completed. The 7th map is called Abandoned and might possibly be the hardest map of the entire act. This time, instead of a wide map, you'll have to destroy a nest node network in a 2-story house. Once again, follow the flesh cables and make sure you're ready for the ridden to come from every angle. Once out of the house with the nest node network, you'll have to activate a tow truck that lifts a yellow car out of the way, and somehow make your way up to a house at the top of a hill while fending off an endless horde of ridden that spawns on all sides. Stick together, preferably using pipe bombs to distract the ridden. Have 2 people shooting forward, 2 people shooting backwards, and once you reach the house, the hordes should eventually let up. If you do have bots, do not stop to res them. This will result in you dying as well. As you make your way up a hill, you'll encounter mine shafts with extremely large, if not endless hordes. If you're lucky, each mine shaft entrance might have an explosive barrel that, when destroyed, will collapse it and stop the horde. Look out for propane tanks and gas canisters to blow up mine shafts that don't have explosive barrels. The last map of Act 1 ends with what is called the Sound of Thunder. Basically, you'll need to load up an artillery gun 5 times to destroy a main mine shaft and escape in the Humvee. As you exit the safe room, there is a window right before a slide that forces you into the main area. Players with snipers or rifles can pick off many of the waiting Zeds, saving you from a frantic beginning fight. Depending on the difficulty, look out for all sorts of resources and pay attention to the locations with artillery shells. You'll need to load the shell into the artillery gun that takes exactly 10 uninterrupted seconds. You'll then interact with the gun to fire it, and interact with it again to empty the spent casing. Whenever the gun fires, it'll spawn a horde, but the artillery gun can be reloaded and fired before it's taken care of. Make sure to use propane tanks, gas canisters, and pipe bombs to keep the heat off the person loading the artillery gun. Once it's been fired 5 times, it'll collapse the mine, and when the whole team enters a Humvee, it'll speed off and Act 1 will be in the history books. So that concludes my Back 4 Blood Act 1 walkthrough and highlights. I hope it helped you out. Let me know in the comments below which are your favorite and most challenging maps. Check out the rest of my channel for other videos on Back 4 Blood, video games, board games, and other fun things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.